All right. I think we're good to go. I know a lot of people are itching to talk here, so welcome back to the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. Pleased to be joined by Rose Zhang. I'll just kick it off with one question, and then we'll open it up to the people here in the room. Rose, it's been a few weeks since your win at the Mizuho Americas Open. What have you been up to since then, and how have you been looking forward to this event?
It's been pretty hectic. Once I went back on campus, I had to get ready for finals. I studied at night with my friends, and we were all in the struggle bus together. But once we had that over with, I moved out on the 13th, and basically the 14th, I drove back down with my parents to go back home to Irvine for a little bit. Spent 3 days with family, with a couple friends, and it was just a very wholesome time for me. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind for sure with everything happening, but I've been enjoying every moment.
All right, we'll start here in the front with Steve.
What have the media requests been like since your win?
It's been quite a lot, to be fair. I definitely did not expect a lot of frenzy to occur over, my last win. I expected people to know. I expected people to be, just super happy about it. But I never thought that media would also be like all over it as well. So it was definitely a lot more than I expected. But I've been doing quite a few press interviews, press conferences, if you might add.
And when you got back on campus, were you treated any differently? Did more people recognize you? What was that like?
Somewhat, but not really. I feel like I've said this before in interviews, but Stanford truly is an amazing place where I can just be myself and be my own person. So once I got back on campus, all my friends were like, yo, congrats. And then after that, we spent time just talking about random things and how they have been surviving campus life on the spring quarter. So it's a lot more fun than any other quarters. The weather's great and people are outside, fountain hopping, etc. So they've just been sharing a lot of stories there with me, and I've just enjoyed listening to what they are living through and campus life.
All right, next up.
Hey, Rose. So when we spoke before Mizuho, you were saying you knew there was a transition, but you weren't going to handle it any differently. Now coming into a major and coming off a win, is your mindset any different?
No, I don't think it's any different, and I feel like, if anything, I've played major championships before as amateur, and with that amateur status, I kept in mind of, hey, I'm just going to go out here, have a learning experience, and it's been turning out well for me. I've played well in the major championships that I've competed in, but if anything, this week isn't necessarily anything different. If I would compare this week to other weeks, whether it's in college golf or even last week at Mizuho. The golf course is much more difficult. The way that the course is laid out is a lot more of a tester for all the players out here this week. So with that in mind, it's just the venue's going to be a lot more hard for us to play. We're going to have to grind through every single shot, and it takes a lot more precision, a lot more grind within us to be able to execute what we need to when we're out here performing and playing. So that's all I'm thinking about.
No additional, excitement or pressure coming in as a pro to to your first major?
I mean, it's super exciting, no doubt. But I wouldn't say it's anything different. I wouldn't place it on another platform or pedestal for me to just admire and look up to. So it's more of, it's another event. I'm still playing the same sport. I'm just in New Jersey again, and trying to play well.
Thank you.
All right, over here to Ann, and then back there for you.
Hey, Rose. Along those same lines, you've handled the whirlwind, as you described it, beautifully. What has been the biggest adjustment for you?
Biggest adjustment, I will say that I haven't been able to work on my game as much as I was able to before as an amateur. There's a lot more obligations that you have to do as a professional. You have a lot more press interviews, conferences, and it does take a lot out of you and a lot out of your time and energy. Therefore, I haven't been able to grind like I usually have been. You know, I feel like as an amateur, you take it for granted where you can just be out on the range, no one's talking to you, you can hit balls for like 4 hours, you can chip, putt, do whatever you need to, but I can't really do that anymore, and yeah, that'll definitely take a bit of adjusting just because, you know, when your game isn't as solid and when you've been playing a lot of events, going on the golf course, your game adjusts to, you know, the different weather conditions, how you're playing golf courses. And yeah, I think that will be the biggest transition for me.
All right, back left.
How valuable is the affirmation that the win gives you, especially when you're coming straight into a major on such a difficult golf course?
Yeah, I think it's so valuable. I definitely did not expect myself to be in that position at all going into Mizuho and that entire week. But the fact that it was more just validation for myself to say that, hey, I can compete at the highest level, and as long as I do what I need to, as long as I perform as well as I can, I'll be able to be in contention, you know, week in, week out. And ideally, you know, it's the LPGA life's the dream life where you can come out here, play the sport as your profession, and just have a good time with friends out on tour. So that's, yeah, it's just really cool to see how I was able to just go right into it and start out my career.
And the challenge of dealing with all the noise that has generated, obviously you've touched on that, but is it a challenge that you relish?
Definitely. I think it's a great challenge. No matter what, I've been taught to never just never give up and always face your challenges, regardless of what happens. As long as you try, as long as you do your best to complete your responsibilities or do what you need to do, that's kind of just how you should live life. And even if you don't succeed, even if you don't play well, whatever, it's always going to be all right. There's always going to be uptrends that you can have, and you can work to improve for the better. So, you know, even with the bunch of interview requests and all the commotion happening, I've just been taking it in my stride, and I'm taking it all in.
I love how you looked at me for that one.
Yeah.
Over to James.
What was the toughest final?
Oh, toughest final. Definitely my computer science final, my CS 106A. Yeah, that entire class has been quite difficult, but I'm super thankful. I've had friends who are CS majors, and we've grown close over the last couple quarters, so they've been really pivotal in helping me pass that class. 100%. Once I came back, I just felt all the, I don't know, I was stressed about it, but at the same time I wasn't stressed because I honestly couldn't care at that point about what my grades were. As long as I passed the class, as long as I completed what I needed to, I was pretty much done with sophomore year.
All right, Sarah.
Rose, I mean, just if you can reflect kind of how much your life has changed. I know like golf is the same. I know interviews are more happening, but how has your life really changed in the last 3 weeks?
My life. I feel like it's crazy to say that other than all the additional press interviews and all the extra attention, My life hasn't really changed as drastically as everyone may think. It's just super busy, obviously, and there's a lot more happening. But with the people around me, they haven't really changed. And I appreciate that because they are a sense of like normalcy when I'm around them, and especially back home, my family, my mom, my brother, my sister-in-law. I was playing with my niece in the last 3 days that I was at home. It was, I mean, obviously my niece is 2.5. She's not going to know that I won a tournament, or she doesn't even know that I play golf. So it's more of like I go back home and everything's just very relaxed, and I have a good time.
If you could chat a little bit about the media tour, and then kind of a two-parter question. I mean, what was it like to be on that media tour, meeting people like Al Roker, but also has there been anybody that's reached out to you that you were a little fangirl or a little shocked by?
Oh yeah, there's been plenty of people that I've been shocked by and super happy that they reached out. One of my, I guess, like sports role models and role models in general, Steph Curry, he even kind of put me on his story and just congratulating me. I think, I don't know, it's just there were so many people out there who really reached out and gave their support to me, which I appreciated so much. And yeah, it really inspired me to, you know, later on, if I'm doing well, regardless of what happens, I want to be out there and spreading positivity and encouragement to anyone who's doing well, regardless of, you know, how old they are or, you know, what they might do.
What was the reaction to the Steph story? I mean, did you just like scream at your phone, or?
I'm not a screamer, I would say. I was just like, I couldn't really talk. I was just like, oh, wow. Like, I had to look at it. I had to look at the story for a couple seconds before I actually gathered my thoughts. And then usually it would also be my other friends texting me that someone notable sent, like, a story about me. So I was just reading the text before I actually saw the stories. So it was just like, oh, wow. Like, you just keep looking at your DMs and you're just amazed by how encouraging they are.
All right, Beth Ann.
Hi, Rose. Could you kind of just take us through when you arrived, how many holes you've played each day, and what you find to be the biggest challenge of this golf course?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I came in Sunday night. I stayed at a family friend's place. They live around 2 miles away, probably, yeah, around 2 miles away. And basically Monday I started my actual practice. I played 9. I played the front 9. And then, you know, went back, rested. And then the next day I had the Pro-Am, so I had a very early Pro-Am starting time. Started at 7:40, played 18, got some practice in, went to the range, went to go putt, and then, yeah, and then I rested from there, went to go see some friends for dinner, and then today came a little later, around 9, and then played with my friend Lucy. We played 9 together, the back 9, and then that's about it. Now I'm here. But I would say this golf course is very difficult. It's definitely a major championship type of golf course. I expected nothing less from it. The rough is high. Greens are firm and very quick. There's a lot of undulation, so you're going to have to be able to place the ball where you need to when you're hitting into approach shots. Even if you hit a really good shot and you're on the wrong side of the hole, it's going to trickle down into a rough patch, or it'll trickle down to the lowest part of the green. So you're going to have to be able to get your lag putts in, understand how to, how to use slopes to your advantage. And I feel like green reading here is also especially difficult. There's a lot of just hidden breaks. And sometimes I would putt like a 30-footer and I'll probably be 6 feet off on the other side of the hole, and I would be super confused. But that's what I've been doing in practice rounds, just trying to get a feel for what the greens are doing. Rough is super thick, like I said. The chips are the chipping techniques that I've been using this week are definitely different from any other chipping techniques that I've been using. And yeah, it's just, if once you're in the rough, that's kind of a layup and try to minimize your big numbers. So fairways, greens, all typical, and the course is long this week, so I know rain's coming in and whatnot. That will definitely play another challenge, but yeah, I think it's a great golf course, traditional, and yeah.
All right, and we'll wrap down here in the corner.
Rose, you said you got a little out of your game because of the commitments and you couldn't bang balls for 4 hours. I mean, was that because of commercial things, or was that just because of the hoopla surrounding your first win? And do you intend to get back to what you used to do?
For sure. There's a lot there. I would say commitments are definitely much more prominent in my life. As a professional, you have to do a lot more things, and you're essentially your own, business boss. So you have to really navigate towards what your career looks like, what your team looks like, and yeah, I've been taking a lot more, I guess, quote unquote, business phone calls than I was when I was a college athlete, college amateur, and yeah, also at the same time, I've been playing a lot ever since, this year's Pac-12s back at school. We played Pac-12s, came back for a little bit, and then immediately went to regionals, nationals, and then I played Mizuho. So it's been a long stretch of golf, so my body's been tired. It's been a little burnt out, and I've been trying to navigate that as well. So just understanding what rest I need and how to take care of whatever I need to, all of that kind of funnels to how I should use my time, and practice isn't necessarily top priority at that point. But in the coming weeks, I'll definitely plan on trying to get back in the game. But I think all it needs is some fine-tuning, and we should be okay. But we'll see.
All right, well, thank you, Rose, and best of luck this week.
Thank you.